While time continues to go on since the passing of Takeoff, Migos members Offset and Quavo are still in the healing process. However, they seem to be progressing better and continuing to get better every single day. Now, when Takeoff passed away, we saw Offset give his emotional reaction to his passing at Takeoff's funeral.
Change the culture of music forever. You did that, Tate. You changed that flow. That flow came from Tate, the originator. The originator of that flow. He changed the music. Lord, give us the strength. Just give us the strength. The family, everybody, give us some strength. I don't want to question you, God, but I don't get it. I don't get you sometimes. And I believe in you, Father. Change the culture of music forever. You did it, Tate.
As time passes, Offset and Quavo are returning now to performing concerts once again, as Offset posted this to his Instagram stating, "Before every show, I love you brah, long live Takeoff," having a remembrance for Takeoff at the start of every single one of his concerts from here on out. If you're a fan of Takeoff, leave a like on the video. I'm curious how many fans are watching today. Now, the family of Takeoff is still waiting for those guilty in the passing to be charged, as it's just now been revealed new evidence as well as new suspects in the passing case. As we saw DJ Akademiks state this in a new interview of the behind the scenes of what happened during Takeoff's passing.
Quavo says, you know what? I'm gonna walk off. He's like, yo, let's go. But I'm gonna also be honest, he says something that I think could have incited the whole thing. Not that necessarily is his fault. He says, man, let me get up on out of here before I hurt somebody. And when you think about all these situations, like Quavo says that, I think that sets in motion, granted the argument sets everything in motion, but him walking away and saying that, I think someone acted on behalf of whoever he was arguing with. The guy with the either seen someone else brandish, he pulled out his, Quavo's already out the mix, so he's back there, the melee's here, Takeoff is still in the middle.
Now, once DJ Akademiks gave his insight on Takeoff's passing with Quavo's actions at the Houston Mall, eyewitnesses at the scene gave a very similar message about Takeoff and his passing that Quavo had during his speech at Takeoff's funeral. This is something you need to hear for the case to make sense.
You always with me, and we did everything together. Since we was kids, you been by my side, looking up at me with them eyes. Same eyes you got as my sister. Waiting on me to make the next move, then you followed up right behind me. You always made sure I did it first, so you can do it right with me. You never competed with me. We was always on the same team because you hated playing against me because I always played too hard or too rough. And I can hear mama saying, not too rough, son. Remember our first dream was to be tag team partners in the WWE. We fell in love with WWE wrestling. We had every...
After the video cuts off, Quavo continues his message by stating, and I quote, "Takeoff's been super quiet though. Quietest in the room, but paid attention to everything going on in the room. He's always been like that. Nothing ever really bothered Take, and he didn't bother anybody." Now remember that part as it relates to a message that the eyewitness told the police. With new evidence being released in the Takeoff passing, it revealed a lot that we didn't know. A list of Instagram stories piecing together a day of events for the two Migos rappers, Quavo and Takeoff, alongside them hanging out with one of the suspects in his passing the entire day. As the brand new police report states that 10 hours before the passing of Takeoff, his day started with Quavo, MigoBands, and a driver for their vehicle. The four individuals were invited to a Halloween party hosted by J Prince Jr., as this party consisted of many music reps, businessmen, and street members all having a Halloween get-together. Before arriving to the Houston Mall, Quavo and Takeoff made rounds around their area, meeting up with friends and family for the Halloween holiday, until a few hours passed where Instagram stories showed Quavo and Takeoff hanging out with one of the suspects in the case, being none other than MigoBands, who is seen here sitting in Quavo's vehicle, wearing a snapback hat, single diamond chain, a Gucci shirt, as well as having a Gucci bag. The Halloween party starts with Quavo and Takeoff performing a few songs at the beginning of the night. Once completing their little session of music, they are then seen walking into an after party room where he would then be hanging out with many music reps, businessmen, as well as many people playing games of dice in exchange for cash. Now, it's in this after party room where all three suspects of the passing of Takeoff meet in one room. The number one suspect has now actually just been arrested, as DJ Akademiks tweeted just a week ago, "The police arrest a man for the passing of Takeoff. His name is Patrick Clark." Sources in Texas say he's commonly known as DJ Pat, with his mugshot included so you get a visual image of what he looks like. DJ Akademiks also then tweeted, and I quote, "According to court documents, Patrick Clark, aka DJ Clark, applied for an emergency passport just days after the passing of Takeoff, as well as booking a flight to Mexico. When the police arrested him, he had a large amount of cash on him, as prosecutors claim that he is a flight risk for bond." Now, also in this after party room is suspect number 2, being Cameron Joshua, as it was just reported by Rap TV, and I quote, "Just in, Takeoff's passing suspect Cameron Joshua, aka Lil Cam the 5th, has been arrested on firearm possession." Now, with the official arrest paperwork added to the tweet, it does relate to what happened to Takeoff. And also with the arrest of Cam, this also confirms a lot of what eyewitnesses claimed happened to the feds, which I will be sharing later. Now, in the after party room, Cameron is wearing a yellow hoodie, and it's the same yellow hoodie he wore the entire night. Now, the third suspect is MigoBands, as MigoBands spent the entire day with Quavo and Takeoff. He's a close family friend, and as much as people do not want to believe it, sources do claim that he is allegedly a suspect, as he was holding a firearm around the time Takeoff passed, as well as there being eyewitnesses claiming that he did in fact use his firearm. Now, while hanging out in the after party and playing games of dice in exchange for cash, this is where Quavo notices something very strange, as it was this moment you see here on screen where Quavo is seen giving a very dirty and ugly look towards Cameron Joshua, the second suspect in the case, as Quavo almost assumed, and it looks like he assumed, that Cameron would be up to no good at this Halloween party. Now again, Cameron wore a yellow sweater this night. Remember it, as it's very important to this next part in the evidence file. Now, after the after party room was complete, many people at the event were not done playing games of dice in exchange for cash. So there was a little get together created by people there that was happening outside of a bowling alley called 810 Billiards and Bowling Houston. Now, there was up to around 30 people at this location, standing around in a massive circle with 4 to 6 people taking turns playing games of dice. Reports state that Quavo was one of the 30 men playing dice, as that is actually false. Quavo only played games of dice in the after party room. Now, while Quavo was watching people play, a mystery man walks up to Quavo. He says hey and introduces himself before beginning to mock the way Quavo played during a celebrity basketball game just a few weeks prior. Now, Quavo is seen on video arguing back and forth with this individual. It even got to the point where Quavo was seen saying, and I quote, "Man, I don't care about no basketball game." Now, with tension starting to rise between Quavo and this other man, as well as the arguing getting louder and louder, this was the current time where Cameron in the yellow sweater is seen making his way through the pile of people and standing right beside Quavo. Now, with the yelling even escalating more, and Cameron standing there beside Quavo minding his business, this is where MigoBands is then seen walking up towards the group of people, holding a firearm near his waistband, or at least looks like a firearm. But shortly after the incident occurred, eyewitnesses did claim that this was a firearm he's holding. MigoBands then makes his way to the front of the group. He then also stands beside Quavo. So Quavo is arguing with this individual, having Cameron standing on his one side with MigoBands standing on his other, with both of them allegedly having firearms. Now, the third suspect was allegedly already standing there. He was only maybe 3 feet behind the pile, and he was scooching his way up to where Quavo was standing as well. So right before things went down, just imagine imagine having one suspect at the top, Cameron on the side, and the other suspect on the other side, creating almost like a triangle around Quavo. With Quavo being done arguing with this mystery man, this is where Quavo is seen beginning to walk away. With Quavo turning his back and beginning to walk away, the mystery man swings towards Quavo. Now this causes Takeoff, who is minding his business around 4 feet away, to start stepping forward to get Quavo some backup. With Quavo walking out of the triangle and then Takeoff taking his spot, one of the 3 suspects rose a firearm or looked like they were grabbing at theirs, which caused the other 2 to also grab theirs. Eyewitnesses claim that MigoBands used his firearm first, but that has not been confirmed and is still alleged, but one of the 3 did use a firearm first. With one of the 3 suspects using theirs first, it caused the others to use theirs as well, and with Takeoff standing in the middle of that triangle I was explaining, this is how he was affected by the strays and then sadly passed. Now with the firearms being used in this small area, all 30 people that were playing dice are seen sprinting out of the mall. Meanwhile, Takeoff is seen on the floor of the mall with Quavo standing right by his side. Many people claim that this is Quavo's fault, getting into the argument and then getting things heated in that moment, but do not listen to any of that nonsense. It was just a very unfortunate event, and even with firearms being used in such a short area, with everyone sprinting out of the mall, Quavo saw that Takeoff was affected. He stood there while firearms were being used, and he was there with Takeoff all the way until the end, which is something you definitely need to respect him for. Now, I'm curious to know what you guys believe happened. Let me know down below in the comments. It's been District Trending, and I'm out. Peace.